Hello, my name is Stephen Redman and welcome to Pastor's Library. This is the channel where we discuss all things to do with theology books, books that might be on a reading list for your seminary course, your bachelor's or master's degrees, books that you might just have seen on the bookshelf of a shop or of your pastor's office. Whatever it is, we're here to talk books, and I hope today we're going to say something that you like. If you do, please give us a thumbs up on YouTube, and also please remember to subscribe and to click on the bell. All that happens from that is that you will be notified when we release another episode. So today we're going to talk about my favourite commentaries on the book of Romans. Wow, Romans. This is the book of the New Testament that there must be more commentaries written about than anything else. Everybody seems to want to get a commentary on Romans out there. And after all, Romans is a very deep theological book. It's a book in which we can see that Paul the Apostle's theology has developed from his earlier writings, and it's a great, inspiring read. It's the book which has those fantastic quotes in, like Romans 3:23, Romans 6:23, Romans 8:28, and so many of those great verses about sin and overcoming sin. It's a great book. So lots of mileage in the book of Romans and lots of commentaries. And today I'm probably going to recommend you one or two books that you may not have thought of. And then I'm going to end up recommending books that you knew about. And you're going to say, well, I was hoping there was going to be something dramatic. The truth is, there are only the books that are out there. And I do believe that the study of the book of Romans has developed to an extent where we have some quite remarkable books now. So, firstly, I'm going to talk about a book which is probably the cheapest book as a commentary of Romans. Certainly at the very bottom of the list price-wise, but is one that you shouldn't ignore because it's very good. And that is the book by Roger Forster. It's called Paul's Gospel in Romans and Galatians. And this is basically a very good commentary on those two books. And it's incredibly well laid out. It's got a thoughtful use of fonts and colour and lots of ideas that make the layout helpful. But frankly, Roger Forster is a somewhat underrated theologian. And he's worked with and been a great friend to people like F.F. Bruce and I.H. Marshall. I think that this would be a great help to you, particularly if you're just starting into serious study. It's an excellent book. Now, there are a number of very good commentaries out there, but one thing I just want to turn your attention to is Anthony Thistleton's book, Discovering Romans. Now, this is less of a commentary, although it is a commentary in the sense. It's also an overview of the theology of the book. And I cannot rave about this too much. I would suggest to you this is an excellent addition to anybody's bookshelf. And if you're serious about studying Romans, Thistleton's views should be considered. And this book is riveting. It's one of those rare things when, I have to say as a commentary, I could barely put it down. It really is excellent. But Anthony Thistleton's writing is generally very good. So that is definitely one you should consider. Now, there are a number of well-known commentaries that are in the top category that I'm not going to list into my top 3 or 4, but they are well worth considering. Leander Keck wrote the Abingdon New Testament commentary. That's definitely worth a read. Craig Keener has written the NCCS commentary. There is nothing that Keener's written that isn't worth reading. And yeah, what more can you say? It's an excellent book. One that came out not that long ago is Michael Gorman's Romans, which is a theological and pastoral commentary, which is slightly unusual title, but it's very, very good. And these are all commentaries that I have dipped into, considered, and like, but not into that category yet that I would refer to as my top few. Michael Bird is always worth a read. This is in the Story of God commentary. And what's particularly good about this is the layout and the thoughtfulness that's gone into including Romans in God's big story. And it's the sort of meta-narrative that surrounds this series that makes them interesting. And whereas I wouldn't say that this is a top commentary from my view, but its place in the story of God is excellent, and if for that reason only, it's worth a view. So you're with me up to now, aren't you? These are all good commentaries, all important ones, all good for your bookshelf, and we're starting to get very near now to my favourite ones. And this one is my favourite book for wedging a door open with. It's heavy. It's a Hermeneia commentary, and it's by Robert Jewett. And this is an enormous commentary on Romans. The Hermeneia range of commentaries can sometimes be hard to process. Some people are put off by how they're advertised and how they're promoted, but you should never be put off by that. These are actually a very worthwhile commentary that adds something, and these are academic. This one in particular is one of the best in the range, I think, of the Hermeneia commentaries. An absolutely excellent commentary. I would say I always want to know what Jewett has to say. And this is the way you will find out what he has to say about Romans. Fairly expensive, I'm afraid, but look at the size of it. I don't know how many pages it is. It's 1,140 pages. Man alive, that's a big one, but it's a good one. Now, I'm starting to get to my favourite ones now. And this is one that you often ignore because it's part of a suite, the New Interpreter's Bible Commentary. And this one, which is volume 9, has got N.T. Wright's commentary on Romans. Now, N.T. Wright, whatever you think about him, you have to admit he is one of the great voices in the theological world today. I think he has a lot to offer for the book of Romans. This is a really excellent commentary. When you buy one of these, of course, you're getting other books as well. So it's not just an N.T. Wright commentary. But I really like this. And as much as I've got to wade in to find the right page, it's a very good commentary. N.T. Wright should never be ignored. He's also done a great commentary on Galatians, which is, of course, sister book really to Romans and worth a look too. Now I'm going to come down to my top selection. I've got a top 3. I've really ummed and ahed, but this is my 4th in my choice. And this is Ben Witherington's socio-rhetorical commentary on Romans. That's what it looks like. And what can I say about this? Well, if you've read any Ben Witherington, you will know that he has so much to say that is insightful. His overview and his connection with other works is quite remarkable. I picked this up when I was just doing a little bit of refreshing of my mind for making this video, and I got quite carried away, and an hour later I found I was still reading it when I'd only meant to look through for 5 minutes. This is an engaging work. This is a work where you will find challenging academic concepts, but you will be drawn in, and it's absolutely a riveting read. I really, really like this book. And is it the very, very best? No, it's one of the very, very best. But it's got a different characteristic. It's basically got a Witherington attached to it. And Ben Witherington just has a gift with expounding the scriptures. And it's one of those commentaries which I want to sort of say, I think you can smell the inspiration on every page. So a very, very special commentary for me. In third place for me is a 2-volume commentary by the late James Dunn. These are the word commentaries 38a and 38b on the book of Romans. And if you've heard me on the word commentary series before, you'll know that these are the worst layout of any commentary series. But if you can persist with them and not be put off by that, they are absolutely gifted people writing to a high academic level. James Dunn is absolutely brilliant on the book of Romans. You've got almost 500 pages in the first one, and it's almost 1,000 pages, the two of them. And that's a great depth, a great resource. This is a really high quality commentary, which I think it will take many years before we come across someone who can deliver a commentary that is wider in scope and greater in depth than the word biblical commentaries on Romans. James Dunn was a gift to the church, and these commentaries will be a gift to you, although you probably won't get them for free. But there you go. Word biblical commentaries on Romans, these are my third choice. Now, my second choice is another one of those ones that you might not have heard of, and it's the New Beacon Bible Commentary. Now, these are by William Greathouse and George Lyons. Comes in 2 volumes. Because it comes in 2 volumes, it's quite affordable. You might get these for about £45 for the pair, which if you're doing an in-depth study and you only have to buy one a month or something, means that you can get going on these quite reasonably. These are, like Ben Witherington, I would say you can smell the inspiration on every page. I found these to be the most liberating commentaries on the book of Romans that I have ever read. And I find them engaging. Lyons and Greathouse, they see Romans as a great relational book, a book emphasizing relationship through the pages. And I found that liberating. I found it engaging. They have a great way of quoting other people. This is definitely a commentary that will refer to other good commentaries, but this is a commentary which you will find easy to dip into. It's very accessible, and whereas I don't think that NBBC particularly talk about these as being academic commentaries, but they're just very accessible. Great for pastors, great for vicars, great for Bible teachers of every level. But these are so precious to me. If I had to run in to a burning office and get one set of commentaries, I would get the NBBCs first, because They are really special to me, and they're all very recent, very new commentaries. A lot of them using authors that maybe have been, this is the first or second commentary. And I can only say to you, for me, this is the commentary that has changed my view on the book of Romans, or refreshed my view on the book of Romans. And I really, really find these very special. Please, if you are looking for a commentary on the book of Romans, please look at these, because you will find them to be excellent. Okay, lastly, my top commentary. And you'll say, oh, we knew you were going to say this. This is Richard Longnecker's Epistle to the Romans in the New International Greek Testament Commentary series. Longnecker and his brother actually are both very, very, very good theologians, highly developed. And when you see a book like this written by one of them, my advice is don't think about it, just spend the money. But this is a technical commentary. There's smattering of Greek on most pages. It's really designed, though, for someone that can engage with Greek. But if you can't engage with Greek, you will still get a tremendous amount from this book. The NIGTC commentary range have all been excellent, but to my mind, this is outstanding. And Richard Longnecker has, I believe, the greatest and most powerful overarching view of the book of Romans, which you will find in these pages. This, to my mind, is ultimately the best commentary that you will see in the book of Romans. Now, we may all have different views on commentary ranges, but for me, this is the ultimate. It isn't going to be cheap. It will set you back a fair amount of money, but price watch it. For me, I always have watch lists on any software, even if it's on Amazon's wish lists. I always have these set up so that I can see when something gets close to a price that I'm prepared to pay, and just follow them. You won't necessarily end up buying this straight away, but believe me, if you can buy it, it will enrich your life and study. So my top 3 recommendations are top, Richard Longnecker. Number 2 is Great House in the NBBC, Great House and Lions. And number 3 is James Dunn in the Word Biblical Commentary. Lots of others. I cannot say to you, oh, you only need 1, you only need 2, you only need 3. All of the ones I've talked to you about are worthwhile. I have a number of other commentaries as well, which I'm not sure are worthwhile. But the ones I've shown to you today, I really do believe in and find them to be helpful. I hope this has helped you today. I hope it's enriched your look for a good commentary on the book of Romans. And if it has, please give us thumbs up. Make sure you're subscribed. Make sure you've clicked on the bell. And that way you'll know as soon as we launch another episode of Pastor's Library. And don't forget to tell your friends about Pastor's Library. Tell anybody you know who studies the Word of God. And I hope to see you next time on Pastor's Library. Goodbye. God bless.